Today we're making a boysenberry mead and it's freaking amazing. So let's get started. If you've never heard of a boysenberry, don't fear, I had no idea what they were till recently. Boysenberries are a cross between a European raspberry, European blackberry, American dewberry, and loganberry. They are generally pretty hard to come by unless you live in California or overseas. So I so happen to have a source local to me that had 5 pounds of them frozen, and I went ahead and bought them. I would not have been able to do this brew without that. This recipe is very similar to like a blackberry or mixed berry mead. I'm sharing my recipe card with you on screen so you can follow along. This recipe card is for a 1-gallon brew, but I ended up making a larger batch. This brew starts by getting those boysenberries and putting them into a fermenter. You're going to want to add some pectic enzyme on top of those berries to help break down the fruit skins and get more juice out of them. From there, you're going to wait 24 hours and then start mixing up the brew. We mix up the berries, honey, water, and yeast together. This brew is going to be over 9%, so I generally like to stagger my nutrients. Once everything's mixed up, we take a starting gravity reading. The starting gravity of this brew is 1.088. This means we're sitting at about an 11.7% ABV brew after fermentation is complete. We're using the Reaux and 71B because it's great for dark berry brews. Once we've added all of that, we're going to let it start fermenting. We split our nutrients into 2 parts and added them at the 24 and 48 hours after the yeast pitch. This gives the yeast a better chance to use the nutrients well. This brew will take about 2 to 3 weeks to finish fermenting. In the meantime, you'll want to punch the cap of the fruit every once in a while. This just means to submerge the fruit so they don't dry out or possibly gather any bad bacteria. Once you feel like fermentation is complete, you're going to take another gravity reading. Our gravity reading after fermentation was 1.000. This means we're sitting at an 11.7-ish ABV brew. We're ready to take some next steps. We went ahead and used an auto-siphoning tubing to rack it into a new container. We wanted to ensure that we got off the dead yeast in the old fruit. I definitely wanted to back sweeten it, so we went ahead and stabilized it with potassium sorbate and potassium metabisulfite. Alternatively, you can pasteurize if you would like to do that. Once it had been stabilized, we waited 24 hours and then added some back sweetening honey. Our final gravity was 1.030. We also wanted to add some oak character to it, so we used specifically an amberana wood. This is a kind of unique oak that gives some spice and interesting graham crackery-like flavor. I'll put a link to some in the description. We added 8 grams of the oak and let it set for about 3 weeks. After 3 weeks had gone by, we went ahead and racked it off of the oak into a new container. We were left with a really great, fun brew, so it was time to bottle it. We bottled it and shared it with some friends. They're going to help me with the tasting, and I think it's time that we taste this thing. So let's go. Quick interruption, today's video is sponsored by ZBiotics. If you've ever woken up after a night of drinking and not felt so great, it's probably because there's a byproduct of alcohol called acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde is something that is in your body after you drink. Our bodies can't metabolize or do anything with it, and so it often causes that bad feeling. With ZBiotics, what you do is you drink one of these little drinks before you'd have your alcoholic beverages. You of course need to drink your regular amount of water and do those things, but this helps to take care of that acetaldehyde in your body, which in turn of course allows you to have a smoother morning the morning after you drink. If you would like to check out ZBiotics and find a discount code and some other information, there's some stuff on screen. You can check it out from there. But ZBiotics is a great way to help you the morning after you drink, and we all drink. If you watch this channel, you probably like alcohol. So check out ZBiotics, and thank you for supporting the channel. Back to the video. Welcome guys to the boysenberry mead tasting, something I've never done before. I'm joined by Carlos and Jake and the big dog himself, Mr. Mead Tools, Larry, in the house as well. We're here to taste some boysenberry mead. I personally have only had one other one, and it knocked my socks off. It was Mead Stampede Year 1. It was by our very own Matthew Allen, aka Bucky, who came in and just, I mean, that dude created the most amazing boysenberry mead I've ever had. So I've been chasing that dream for some time now. So here's my ode to him.
I will never forget that mead from Mead Stampede 21. That was amazing.
That dude crushed it. And so I don't think this is not the same, because his was like a no water boysenberry. This had water involved. So it is a boysenberry mead, less fruited than his, with amberana oak, which has that graham crackery sort of spicy character. And I can't remember my stuff. Here's my recipe card. If you're curious again, but let's do it. Let's taste it. Y'all give me your notes. I'm curious what you think.
Right off the bat, boysenberry jumps out of the glass. and followed by that spiced Amberana that chases right after it.
You can really taste the Amberana too.
This reminds me a lot of the smell of the Rhapsody in Blue, the blueberry cinnamon. It's kind of got like some warming spice mixed with the fruit, mixed with some honey. The smell is absolutely enchanting.
Ooh.
The boysenberry and the taste is very forward. And the tannins are definitely cleans in the mouth a little bit. Mid palate kind of dries, but the sweetness chases it away. It's
Tremendously well balanced.
Yeah, for sure. It's got a lot more tannin and less acid than I expected, probably because I'm so used to boysenberry being so tart that it just like punches you in the face. But this is nice. Like I said, more tannin, less acid, which is refreshing, honestly. And the sweetness is really well like put together. It's not too much.
like I would like a little bit more sweetness out of it, but that's just like a personal choice. But yeah, I think that'll help with that tannin or the dryness right mid palate. Yeah. But like I said, that sweetness comes through and like chases away, but the tannin kind of gets you first, and the sweetness is like, no, get out of here. So I think just a little bit more sweetness to kind of round that out would be a little bit better. And but that's just a personal choice.
Yeah, it definitely is a lot of tannin, and it's like you can tell that it's not like just one thing. It's not like just the fruit or just the wood. It's both of them playing together a little bit.
That's really good though. The flavor is very like refreshing and fresh. Even for being like frozen, like it's very fresh.
There's a significant warming sensation on the finish, and it lasts for a while, and I really enjoy it. I think it's tannin related, little bit ethanol related, but it's not a heat, it's not a burn, it's not a fuminess. It's just like it's very pleasant add to the finish.
One thing that was a bummer about this is that I went back to the same store, tried to buy myself some more, and they didn't have any. So boysenberries, I feel like they're such a rare thing here in Oklahoma, at least. So I'm going to have to really play the game to see if I can find them. I know they're way local.
Getting tart fruit in the South is impossible.
Well, California gets them all the time. The guy California. It's the West Coast. I don't remember where it is. The last guy, the name of the guy who crossbred this thing, his last name was Boysen or something like that. And so it's like, it's very interesting. And so I'm very jealous of all the people right now who are just rolling in these cool berries like the Marion berry. That's one I want to get a hold of one day. Those are so cool. Boysenberry I've tried now. Like stuff like that is just unique. I feel like lame at this point when I get just a blueberry. It's just a blueberry, It's not very cool at this point. It's unique, and I highly recommend if you can get a hold of it. I don't know how you're going to get a hold of it if you're anywhere south in the States, at least. It's hard to get a hold of. Maybe you can find it frozen. If not, I will try and scour the internet for some links to see if I can figure out any way for people to get it online. But I highly recommend people try it. It's really fun, very unique. I do think that it's probably more valuable. This might be a hot take. More valuable for you to spend money getting good at mixed berry, blackberry, blueberry meads, because you're going to generally make more of those if those are local to you. Like if you can nail down a couple of those recipes first and then go into the experimental ones, like the boysenberry, I think you're going to have a greater time. But if you see them, go get them. Spend the money. It's not cheap, but it is very interesting. And maybe you guys are able to get some around you. You might try it if you haven't. Have you guys made a boysenberry mead before? I don't think we asked that yet.
I grow them, so I make them.
Oh yeah, you're lucky. Yeah, you're lucky. You got it in your backyard. That's even more extreme. Well, sweet. Well, guys, thank you for being a part of this tasting. And I want to make sure and shout out because these guys all are multi-talented and very busy people. Carlos has his own meadery. He started Texas Longhouse Mead. Links, of course, in the description for him. Larry has the Mead Tools, which is the premier way to get anything done with mead making. It's down in the description. You can find out more about mead making / calculators, recipes, things like that there. And Jake himself is he's one of the greatest Discord members and leaders I could ever ask for, because he just jumps in and is so helpful, and I appreciate him. But 2, he's also a extremely talented musician. I'll be putting some links, if I can, to his world, if he allows me to support him.
Thanks, dude.
So I will gladly do that. But thank you guys for being a part of this tasting. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having us. It was awesome.
It was a blast.
Cheers.
Because I never said my